Good evening and thanks for tuning into the Urban Debate with me, Avni Raja. On the show, I'll get you the big stories of the day along with expert views. First, we focus on the intensifying face-off between BJP and the Aadmi party over freebies, with Congress also now wading into the debate. Then we'll get you the details of a startling report by the anti-corruption watchdog ADR, which says that 15 of the 18 newly inducted Maharashtra ministers have criminal cases against them. We'll also discuss the big announcement made by the University Grants Commission that it was examining the merger of the JEE, NEET and the CUET into one exam. Is this a good idea and how feasible is this? And we'll also get you a mega exclusive interview of India's badminton star and Commonwealth gold medalist PV Sindhu. And let's begin with the top story. After BJP accused Delhi CM Arvind Kejriwal of creating fear in the minds of the poor amid the intense freebie debate between the two sides, Aadmi party today took on the centre once again while accusing the centre of diverting public funds to aid rich businessmen and corporates. AAP questioned the logic behind reducing corporate taxes. Congress also weighed in, saying that there was a grey area between welfare measures and freebies and urged people not to get trapped in the discourse on freebies.
पूरे की पूरे देश की गवर्नेंस में अब दो मॉडल सामने आए हैं। एक मॉडल है जिसमें सत्ता में बैठे लोग अपने दोस्तों को, अपने परिवार के लोगों को मदद पहुंचाते हैं, उनको हर तरह की मदद करते हैं, वो दोस्तवाद का मॉडल है। दूसरा मॉडल है कि जनता के टैक्स के पैसे का इस्तेमाल लोगों को अच्छे स्कूल, अच्छे सरकारी स्कूल देने में किया जा रहा है, लोगों को अच्छे सरकारी हॉस्पिटल, वहाँ पे अच्छी दवाइयाँ, वहाँ पे उनके टेस्ट के लिए किया जा रहा है, उनको बिजली, सस्ती बिजली, मुफ्त बिजली देने के लिए किया जा रहा है।
अरविंद केजरीवाल जी के झूठे वादे और ये जो फ्रीबीज की कहानी अरविंद केजरीवाल जी कहते रहते हैं, उसके विषय में बताना आवश्यक है। बंधुगण, अरविंद केजरीवाल जी का एक ही मत है, एक ही उद्देश्य है, कैसे भी करके आम आदमी पार्टी और अरविंद केजरीवाल जी की प्राधान्यता स्थापित हो देश में, उनके एम्बिशंस फुलफिल हो, उनकी महत्वाकांक्षा आगे बढ़े। इसलिए झूठ दिन पर दिन किस प्रकार से वो परोस रहे हैं, ये हम देख रहे हैं।
Both Aam Aadmi Party and BJP, their promises are jhoot ki gatri promises. We are categorically against the jhoot ki gatri culture. We are not against Manrega. In fact, Prime Minister made a fun of Manrega, but during pandemic, Manrega was the scheme which had helped the government. We are not against giving some small assistance to the poor people. But when everybody is talking about Muft ki Revdi, why we are not talking about 7.27 lakh crore rupees of loan written off in last 5 years by public sector banks? Why we are not discussing that in 2019, because of corporate rate tax cuts, every year the negative impact to the exchequer is 1.45 lakh crore. When we are going to discuss all these things, Muft ki Revdi kharab, as per Modi ji, but Muft ki Gajak aane do aur khane do.
Niyamika is joining us for more details here. Niyamika, clearly this issue of freebies is not going to die down anytime soon. Every time the Aam Aadmi party comes up with certain allegations, BJP is quick to respond, as we've seen what's happened today as well.
Well, absolutely. This war of words between the BJP and Aam Aadmi Party is getting intensified day by day, and that is the reason today the Aam Aadmi Party again lashed out at the BJP for making such statements of putting in the Revdi politics in the country. And today the Deputy Chief Minister of Delhi, Manish Sisodia, has also held a press conference in which he has, by making basically BJP is trying to taxpayers of this country, and that is the reason why they are making all these statements of saying that it is the Aam Aadmi Party who is basically trying to do revdi politics in the country. And he has also said that basically in the current scenario, we are witnessing two types of models in the country. One is of Dostiwad, which is being followed by the BJP, and on the other hand, there is the welfare scheme which is being brought in by the Aam Aadmi Party, as it is their own party who are making such promises in various for giving out welfare to the people of this country. And apart from that, if we compare the other developed countries across the world, then they also do the investment in the citizens, and that is the reason why their economy is in such a good state. So it is the BJP who should take some lessons from the other developed countries regarding this matter.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for getting us all of those details. Now, let's get in some additional perspective on this entire freebie debate. MC Abbas, political analyst, is joining me here on the broadcast. Tushar Gupta, senior editor, Swarajya, will also be joining in just a bit. But MC Abbas, starting with you here, your perspective on this entire issue, because obviously the big controversy has been there is a line between what is required for welfare and what is being given out as freebies simply to lure voters. Where does that line come? Who draws it? That's the big question.
I truly believe, Avni ji, that there is absolutely no wrong in bringing about welfare. Well, let me expose the duplicity and hypocrisy of the Bhartiya Janta Party. Recently, we had Yogi Adityanath, who announced free bus rides for women above the age of 60 in the state of Uttar Pradesh. Isn't this reverie culture? Or is it that Modi ji proposes and Yogi ji disposes? Also, we need to understand here, a true reverie culture, or I would call it a bigger, better biryani culture, is when 10 lakh crores are waived off the loans of these so-called businessmen, punjpatis or udyogpatis. Also, as a matter of fact, we need to look here. Many of the BJP states offer free government education. Many of the BJP states themselves offer free medicines and free education, healthcare, so on and so forth. Isn't this reverie culture? The fact of the matter that the Aam Aadmi Party has been able to do the same thing much better government schools, even better than private schools, much better mohalla clinics, even better than many of the BJP states' government healthcare and medical hospitals. Only because the people of this country, the Aam Aadmi, is actually viewing Aam Aadmi Party as a much better alternative to Bhartiya Janta Party. It is the same reason why they are being called a reverie culture. Let me also bring about the fact of the matter. Let me give out a certain perspective of the RBI. Is Delhi's comfortable fiscal position sustainable? It certainly is. The Reserve Bank of India State Finance Report calculates that Delhi has the highest funds available in India for development spending. As a matter of fact, they have spent 20,000 crore this financial year and yet remain under the prescribed fiscal deficit limits. So therefore, even if you see the RBI report, even if you see any central government report, this is exposed. But what happens with the BJP? If Modi ji is calling this reverie culture, what would you call? Recently, there was a RTI. What did we see in the Right to Information Act by Prafulla P? More than 10 lakh crore has been waived off these loans. Also, we need to understand when a Kisan is not able to pay off his EMIs, he is taken into remand. When anybody who's able to not pay off his home loans, he's taken into remand. But 10 lakh crore is waived off. And why do you blame? Aam Aadmi Party is being able to provide the best of mohalla clinic, best of education, best of healthcare, best of everything, but BJP wants to blame them. Here we need to understand this is nothing but pure politics. The politics which comes through. We need to understand if the same thing here in Karnataka, I come from the land of Karnataka and BJP is in power here today. I can point out to you many government schools which are giving out free education, and that's absolutely fine. Why so? Because it is in the best interest of the poor citizens of this country. Many hospitals giving out free medicines, free healthcare, free prescriptions, all of that. That is okay. But only because the Delhi is able to do it better, with a better fiscal deficit, and also is able to do better development spending, and the eyes of the media and the people is on Delhi because they are able to provide the same education, the same health care for a much better quality and value. So much so that many of the students who were a part of private schools and have now joined government schools, because for free you get the same facilities or even better by the government. So why not? Had I been a citizen of Delhi, had I been staying there, I'd love to have my people, my known people studying in government schools than otherwise. I would prefer, rather than going to many of these private hospitals which charge ridiculous amounts of money, I'd always choose to go to a hospital or a mohalla clinic in Delhi. Why? Because it's free of cost. And Aam Aadmi Party is not doing it by their own. They are able to do it from the state exchequer, and they're able to do it much better. Recently in the report, what do we see from the Reserve Bank of India? That they are able to do. They are able to do asset creation. They are able to do build many more better schools, mohalla clinics, and whatnot. Now, what do we see here? In the state of Uttar Pradesh, we see Yogi Adityanath providing free bus rides for women over the age of 60. Well, Aam Aadmi Party is able to do this much before, but not just women of over the age of 60, but for all the women. And of course, there is an option. If women would like to pay for the same, they are welcome to do so. We need to understand here that Modi ji needs to look into his own states of Madhya Pradesh, Uttar Pradesh, Karnataka, and various other BJP states who are doing what Aam Aadmi Party does. But the quality of the Aam Aadmi Party is much better here. Also, we need to understand.
MC Abbas, I understand what you're saying and where you're coming from, but the question is slightly larger if we look at it, because clearly the Supreme Court has certain observations also with regard to the freebie culture. The RBI has also put out a certain risk analysis as far as freebies are concerned. So obviously, somewhere that line has to be drawn. So this entire method of simply trying to get votes by making promises of freebies is the big question here, and that is what the Supreme Court has also asked needs to be, a line needs to be drawn somewhere. On the larger issue, not getting into which government has done what.
Avni, absolutely right. Undoubtedly, I think you've raised a very rightful question. Also, as a matter of fact, keeping the Supreme Court observation in mind, we must understand this. Also, the RBI has its own respective analysis. What do we see here? Is the Aam Aadmi Party government in Delhi able to deliver? Yes, it is. Even if you see the RBI report, they are able to do that without having any debt sustainability issues. This is what let me source money control on the same. Also, we need to understand here, the ruling government in power, even when Nirmala Sitharaman ji takes pot shots on this, or even the Prime Minister, Shri Narendra Modi ji takes pot shots at the Revdi culture. The fact of the matter is, even in Supreme Court, in its observation, has brought out its analysis or its understanding. The fact of the matter, again, according to the federal structure of India, we need to understand that does this particular state of Delhi able to deliver? Are they able to keep any debts of their own? They are not. As a matter of fact, they're showing 40,000 plus revenue surplus. So therefore, for a state like Delhi, and under the able leadership of Aam Aadmi Party government, Shri Arvind Kejriwal ji as a chief minister, they are able to deliver. Whereas, if you see Uttar Pradesh, they have over 6 lakh crore debt. If you see Madhya Pradesh, or if you see many other states, they are not able to. The fact of the matter here is, how is this coming? The direct or indirect taxes are coming from the citizens.
On that point, Punjab government has a huge amount of debt as well. Given the financial state, yes, the AAP has just come into power, but nonetheless, at the end of the day, they have taken on that kind of debt as far as the Punjab government is concerned. Is it fiscally prudent to make the kind of freebie promises as far as what they have done right now in Punjab?
Absolutely. Avni ji, you are absolutely right about the fact. Punjab has close to about 3 lakh crore. Yes, but the Aam Aadmi Party has come recently in power. You are absolutely right about mentioning the same. Yes, the question is it fiscally prudent or not? Here we need to understand what is the Revdi culture, which they so-called. 300 units have been announced to be free. Now, time will tell. Time is the best matter of fact here. Yes, we need to understand, has the Aam Aadmi Party able to deliver the same in Delhi? Yes, they have been able to. Punjab, will they be able to deliver? Time will tell. But the fact of the matter, we need to understand here is that if the government is able to prove itself over the due course of time, I don't see anything wrong in that.
Right.
And also we need to understand that largely UPA, NDA have been able to do the same over several years. The Congress as well, when they were in power in many of the states, they have been able to provide free education, free government schools, free government hospitals too. But not at the cost and quality of the Aam Aadmi Party, and the revenue surplus was
Right.
not being able to provide by them.
All right, MC Abbas, we'll leave it there. Thank you so much for joining us with your perspective on this issue. This issue, of course, is not going to die down anytime soon, and the next Supreme Court hearing is also going to happen on the 17th of August. So we'll, of course, have to wait and see what happens then.